Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise before this August House to ask my question 112/2017 under my name, and the question is directed to the Honourable Minister for Education, Heritage and Arts. Can the Minister inform this House as to what are some of the new initiatives in place by the Ministry to strengthen library facilities and services in schools around the country? Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Minister for Education, Heritage and Arts.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank the Honourable Member for asking this question. Madam Speaker, it is widely acknowledged that school libraries play a pivotal role to the provision of quality, suitable library resources, reading resources, hence laying the solid foundation for the growth and progress of knowledge-based society. Libraries provide an opportunity for students' holistic growth and development. It provides students open reading vis-a-vis what they get to read during class time, which is more textbook and confined to the textbooks, Madam Speaker. So it also provides an opportunity for students to understand better about the society, about the history of the country, open up to developments around the world, Madam Speaker. So we see library as a very important integral component of the school system, Madam Speaker. If we want to produce products out of our education system, which are not local products, but responsive and to the global situation, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, library development in Fiji has evolved and transformed drastically over the last 5 decades. The Ministry of Education, Heritage and Arts, through its library services, has over the past 2 years contributed immensely to the provision of access to information and knowledge to schools, as well as, Madam Speaker, to the few public libraries that we are looking after. As well as we are also supporting some of the libraries looked after by Ministry of Local Government, like the library here in Suva and the library in Nendi. Madam Speaker, we are supporting the libraries through a budgetary allocation. In this financial year, we have been allocated $450,000 to assist in the development of libraries throughout Fiji. And this amount is also directed towards setup of libraries for, in schools. Madam Speaker, since 2014, the Library Service of Fiji has been focusing to install proper infrastructure inside the libraries in our schools and to set up advisory services to be carried out in schools, Madam Speaker. Sometime back, Madam Speaker, you would have noted when you and I were in school, in the rural areas, we used to see mobile libraries because schools did not have libraries, dedicated libraries. We have moved away from that, Madam Speaker, now, and we are establishing dedicated library space in schools so that when we provide reading materials, there is a place to store, and there is a place for students to go down and sit and read. And also, we can allow teachers to set up dedicated time in the timetable for library reading, Madam Speaker. Otherwise, us promoting library reading becomes a bit futile because it does not get factored in the timetable because there's no dedicated library. So in this regard, Madam Speaker, we have been promoting schools to construct dedicated library spaces, Madam Speaker. From 2014 till today, a total of 414 school libraries were set up, Madam Speaker. This included 313 setups in primary schools and 96 in secondary schools, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, still in some primary schools in the deep interior, rural and maritime division, still they do not have a dedicated library space. So we are trying to work towards this. I mean, this 313 setups in 2014 is a huge milestone for us, Madam Speaker, noting that we have got about 726 primary schools. So we still have a few schools which do not have a dedicated library space. We are trying our best to do that, Madam Speaker. So over the last 3 years, 313 primary schools we set up new dedicated library space, and 96 secondary schools, a total of 414. In addition to that, Madam Speaker, from last year till today, we had set up 77 ECE library corners, Madam Speaker. We had also, over the past 2 years, done community library meetings, youth center libraries, and also we have set up dedicated library space, library rooms for technical colleges, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we have also supported as I alluded to earlier on, the setup of library corners in ECE centers. Till date, we have established 77 ECE centers with a library corner. The library corner includes a steel shelf, reading resources, educational toys, and games. So this has provided an additional support to the ECE teacher in terms of picking up additional resources for student reference. Madam Speaker, we have also encouraged the schools to use 10% of the pre-education grant to buy reading materials and stock up in the libraries. These reading material includes encyclopedia, storybooks, etc. for libraries. In addition, Madam Speaker, we have also assisted schools with building and renovation of library facilities from additional outside the library grant, Madam Speaker. So since 2015 to date, we have spent 432,000 for construction of library rooms outside the library grant, the small grants that we have from the Ministry of Education, Heritage and Arts, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we have also working very closely with NGOs and international counterparts in order to strengthen information and knowledge sharing for lifelong learning. In 2016, we collaborated with within the South-South Cooperation Project and JICA to assist our Pacific Island neighbors in development of school libraries by conducting a regional training on basic school library management. In the past 2 years, the Library Services of Fiji has seen the tremendous effects of networking and partnership with NGOs and international donors to assist the department. In this regard, we have worked very closely with Vision Fiji with the project Read to Lead, Madam Speaker. This project's objective was to ensure that we provide relevant reading materials to all primary schools. So what they have done is, Madam Speaker, they've got a dedicated package of material that is required in a primary school from years 1 to 8. So with the funding from OZAID, we have, through the Read to Lead project, over the past 2 years, we have supplied the package, Madam Speaker. It's a box with the standard reading package for years 9 to 8. 352 schools have been provided with that package, Madam Speaker. And we are looking at completing all the primary schools in the next 2 year time. So, Madam Speaker, this is in detail the kinds of assistance we have provided to our schools and public libraries as well as the local government libraries to ensure that we contribute towards holistic development of our children by encouraging them to undertake open reading. Thank you.
Honorable Manivalu.
Supplementary question, Madam Speaker.
Supplementary question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Can the Honorable Minister for Education provide details of acquisitions of books made of over the last 2 years in school libraries around the country? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, as alluded to, we have been providing reading books, storybooks to libraries, to our schools throughout Fiji. In 2015, we had an allocation of $90,830, which we provided to in terms 1,762 acquisition and 12,296 for accessioning, and we got 32,191 the total cost of 134,000. Now, in 2016, Madam Speaker, we had spent a total of $220,000 to acquire storybooks to provide schools throughout Fiji, Madam Speaker. So you would note, Madam Speaker, that there is a major jump of acquisition from 1,762 titles in 2015 to 28,000 in 2016. And all these 28,047 titles with a value of 220,000 last year was distributed to all the schools throughout Fiji, Madam Speaker. You can see the impact that it would have, Madam Speaker, if we have a dedicated library space to hold these books and then allow teachers to timetable and take the children to these libraries and encourage them to read, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Nawaipula.
It's very important now for students to have access to the internet. Can the Honourable Minister advise us that in these 414 schools, they have computers that allow students, not teachers, to have access to the internet for the purpose of research? And if not, will he be looking into that?
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, all the urban schools have dedicated computer lab and computers. Most of the rural schools have dedicated computer lab and computers, but there are still some schools in the deep interior and the maritime division, particularly primary schools, Madam Speaker, they don't have a computer lab. Some the PCs are in the normal room, and they are dedicated time for children to go and access PC and not only learn Word and Excel, as well as be able to learn how to Google and search for educational material. Progressively, Madam Speaker, when encouraging them to construct a dedicated computer lab, and we are assisting them by two ways. One is we are allowing them to save from their pre-education grant and wire that money towards construction of dedicated computer lab. And we are providing bridging funding. Secondly, Madam Speaker, we have over the last 3 years provided money for construction of a dedicated computer lab. But it will take time, Madam Speaker, because that money, we have a limited amount of money which we are also utilizing to construct quarters in the interior where they need quotas, because without quotas you can't post teachers, Madam Speaker. So there is a bit of constraint, but it will take time. We are working towards ensuring that in the interior schools have enough quotas, a dedicated library and dedicated computer lab. Some schools, Madam Speaker, we have got the computer and library room merged into one, and therefore it's used for both purposes. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Nambolivo.
Madam Speaker, supplementary question. Can the Honourable Minister explain if this ministry assists schools with setup and provisions of library furniture?
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, yes, we do, and I want to thank the member for asking this question. We have a dedicated amount of funds where when our library team, Madam Speaker, our library team goes out to set up the library, we also provide furnitures. Over the last 2 years, 2015 and 2016, we had supported 210 schools with furniture, special furniture to set up the library. And these are different furniture, not normal table, these are racks, etc., Madam Speaker. In 2015, we assisted 80 primary school and 23 secondary school. In 2016, we assisted 77 primary school and 30 secondary school. So a total of 210 schools were assisted with furniture to set up the library over the last 2 years.
Thank you. Honourable Premson.
Madam Speaker, it's good to strengthen library services by providing facilities and providing books. My question to the Minister is, if you can inform this House, whether reading is part of the curriculum, and if not, whether the Minister intends to introduce it as part of the curriculum.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, almost from every year, year 1 right up to year 13, we're encouraging as part of the curriculum for students to undertake essay writing research. And in that way, students are in a way forced to go and do open reading, access materials in the library. There are journals, there are newspapers, periodicals, Madam Speaker. So it gets them to go and read library materials. In addition to that, Madam Speaker, in the primary school we have got compulsory journal writing, which is called, where every week a student will be required to write a small piece, which will be assessed by the teacher. So it gives to students, it requires students to definitely go and do open reading, which I categorize as open reading.
Thank you. Honorable Librarian.
Madam Speaker, thank you. I'd like to ask the Minister for Education if there are any plans to celebrate World Book Day to complement a library week around schools in Fiji. Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Yes, Madam Speaker. Every year we celebrate that throughout Fiji, and in addition to that, we also have library days celebrated throughout Fiji in every town where our library team will visit. They'll have it in the town area somewhere and invite all the school librarians to come with the children, and there will be sponsors there as well with free books to give out. So yes, we will be celebrating.
Thank you.
Can the Minister just confirm to the House that the responsibility given to the librarians in the schools, the librarians are well trained in cataloging and the safekeeping of books and circulation and all that? I say this, Madam Speaker, because in the tourism belt, a lot of books are brought in by tourists, and I was chairman of a school, and I noticed that the books were not properly kept. And I would urge the Minister to ensure that management of books is properly structured, i.e. cataloging and things like that. Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, yes, I want to assure the Honourable Member that we are also undertaking training of librarians. In fact, a lot of library attendants or library assistants in schools, small but significant number of them are not qualified librarians because, Madam Speaker, the library qualification hasn't been offered that widely for long. It is only recently that USP probably started to offer that qualification, maybe about 10, 15 years ago, and FNU started about 4 years ago. So a lot of libraries have persons who are not qualified, doesn't hold a qualification. So for them, for the last 3 years, we've been holding short courses on libraries, cataloging, and how to encourage students to undertake reading, etc. So they are being trained through our library services.
Thank you. Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Madam Speaker, I thank the Honourable Minister for his answer to the questions. My question to the Honourable Minister is that many of the students who are using these library facilities also have mobile phones. So with the mobile phones, they're texting, and with the texting, your spelling becomes an issue. So my question to the Honourable Minister is, besides these library facilities, what is he putting in place to assist the students with their spelling in the schools?
Honourable Minister.
Speaker, the two components to Honourable Member's question. One is the issue of texting and spelling, and I do agree with that. That is an issue, and we had some initial discussion with the mobile phone companies of how they could block those kind of words which is not correctly spelled, but we haven't gone through, completed the discussion. So that is something that we're worried about. But the whole issue of vocabulary, comprehension, spelling, that's captured in the language course that we have from years 1 to 13. But again, we need to ensure that encourage students, children at home, etc. So when they converse, when they write, they should use correct spelling. Thank you.